Hey everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got a product from Lemfo. This is their DM360 smartwatch. You can check this guy out on Amazon. I will have a link in the description below where you can check it out. It comes in several different colors. I have a black model with a metal black band. There is also a silver and a gold model. They all come with either metal bands or you can choose leather bands depending on what you want. So you've got like 6 different choices at least. You can check that out on Amazon. Plain packaging here. This guy will work with iOS and with Android. I have tested it with Android. Any iOS questions I'll do my best to try to answer for you guys, but I have not tested it with iOS. Lemfo logo on the top here, so let's just kind of bust right in, show you guys the watch itself and the build quality. As you can see, it is much like the Moto 360. It comes with a screen protector already pre-installed on it, so I've got that on there. And they do give you an extra one in the bottom. I'll go over that as well. Kind of put that to the side and just empty the box here. We've got our charge cable, which is a magnetic charge cable. You see that with a lot of new devices now. They're moving to these magnetic charging cables. And you've got a bunch of magnetic pins here that will clip into the bottom of the watch, and then you have a USB port on the other side. This will be, you can either hook this guy up to your USB port on your PC or your laptop, or an AC adapter. I suggest an AC adapter just for a faster recharge. So I really do like this. They also give you a user manual. It's written in Chinese and in English. We'll go over a couple of those things in just a moment. And they give you an extra screen protector in the bottom here as well. So you have an extra screen protector if you need one, should this one get scuffed up or something like that and you want to replace it. So what I'm going to do is kind of go over really quickly just this user manual they give you. Again, it'll work with iOS 7 Plus or it will work with Android 4.3 Plus, and you're going to need to scan the QR code that's in the smartwatch to get this BT Swatch application. I already have it installed on my Note 4, so I'm not going to show you how to actually install it, but you'll install it pretty much like any other app that you would. And on the iOS side, again, it's BT Swatch as well, or S Watch, or for smartwatch, and they've got that for iOS as well, so you can do that. And it handles everything from pairing up the phone. As long as you have Bluetooth on, it will search for it. It'll come up as the DM360, and then it'll say DM once you're connected. I'll show you that on the phone. And you can do several different things with this watch. It does not have any built-in memory. Let's go over that really quickly as we go through this. We're going to look at the build quality on this. Is a nice metal band. I like this metal band. It's very comfortable to wear, even though it is all metal. As you can see, I've got the black version again with the black metal band. And as we're looking at it, you've got your power button on the side here. You do have that little section, as you can kind of see in the reflection there, that is cut off at the bottom, and you'll see a lot of the round-faced watches have that cut off part. And I initially thought that was going to be a detraction. It wasn't going to look that great, but honestly, there's only a few spots that you can really notice that, and they've done a really good job at integrating it into the watch. So you've got your button here, and you've also got your speaker on the right hand side. You've got a pinhole microphone on the left hand side. This will be for taking calls and making calls directly from the watch. Obviously the watch will have to be connected via Bluetooth to your phone to do that. There is no SIM option on this watch. As you can see on the back, it isn't, you can open it with screws, but that's for maintenance. You will not be servicing this at all. In the middle, you've got a heart rate sensor here, and then you've got your charge cable, which we talked about already. Will just line right up. The pin, it'll only fit one way. It clips right in. It's not strong enough to hold the watch up, but it's strong enough to stay in place and be where it needs to be to charge, so that's great. I really wish they kind of would have made this cable a little bit longer. It's pretty long, but it could have been a little bit longer for charging reasons. But that's just kind of a personal nitpick there. So you can't do it opposite, obviously, since it's magnet. It will, if you try to do it this way, it'll actually push away. So you can't connect it this way. You can only connect it in the right orientation. Again, you've got this nice heart rate sensor here. I've tested that. We will test that as well as we go over everything on the watch itself. I'm going to fire the watch up, and as we go over the rest of the user manual really quickly, you guys will be able to see what's going on here. I like the screen on this. Again, you've got some basic watch faces here, and again you can see at the bottom it's cut off, but then when you're looking at the watch face, it's not so bad at all because it kind of just blends in. And I'm getting push notifications because it automatically connected to my Note 4. I will go over the APK in just a second, or at least some of the things on the APK. And if I view the notifications, it's just the BT Swatch notification saying that it's connected, and then you know, we've got all of our other things right here. And this, again, they did a really great job on the screen with this. It's a very nice and bright screen, and we'll go over that in just a second. I want to, and I'm going to have all the actual specs for the watch listed below, so that way you guys can take a look in the description of the video and see all the specs on the watch itself. It's got a ton of different functions on this, and we'll go over most of these why we are looking at the watch. You've got gesture control, so you'll be able to flip your wrist up to turn the screen on. You'll be able to flip your wrist while the screen is on to switch pages. You can shake it 3 times to answer a phone call, an incoming phone call. So there's a lot of different things. You've got a sedentary reminder, you've got a pedometer, you've got your heart rate function, and if you're connected to iOS, you actually have a Siri function as well. So you can actually control with Siri. You've got calls, obviously, your contacts and your phone logs, your Bluetooth music. You can play music from the phone on the watch. And then you've got your SMS. So you've got that. The way it sets up SMS is it just has a default template, a bunch of default templates that you can send back, so you don't have an actual way of typing in your own thing right on the watch, but it does have some templates. So if you didn't want to dig your phone out and you want to go through it real quick, you can, and we'll take a look at that real quick. Now here's your pedometer. Again, nice pedometer. You can change, you know, miles to meters, and you can go into options and change all that. What you want your steps to be. Obviously, are, you know, they defaulted at 10,000 steps. You can change your backgrounds here. Or the icons now are more of, instead of being color, they're more of a black and white on the icons. So you've got a couple different ones you can do there. I kind of like the color ones. Your background you can change to kind of just a black background right there, or they've got this carbon fiber type background there, which I like, so I would like to leave that on. You've got sedentary reminder. You can set that up 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. So, you know, if you set it for 30 minutes, every 30 minutes the watch is inactive, it's going to vibrate and ring to let you know that you've been inactive. Your phone book, your dialer. This is the QR code. If you bring this up, it's going to ask you whether you want it, the application for Android or iPhone, and then you're just going to click on it, and then you'll use a QR scanner on your phone to download it directly, and I did that no problem. It worked very well. Your dialer here brings up this nice dialer. I actually kind of like it. It's kind of a reminiscent of an Android dialer a little bit, and if we want to just call somebody, I'm just going to, like I usually do, I usually bug T-Mobile support, so let's do that. And is now
T-Mobile. Para continuar en español, marque asterisco o diga español. How can I help you today? You can say anything from representative to how many minutes do I have to make a payment. So briefly, tell me the reason for your call.
How many minutes do I have?
Let me get some details about your usage.
So anyway, you could see that worked very well. The call ended. We're good to go. I get notifications. Unfortunately, I haven't gone through the application, told it what notifications to give me and what not to give me. So it gives me like every system notification, your in-call, mute button, everything. So I've got to take that off, or you'll get inundated with system-wide notifications as well. So anyway, it does very well on phone calls, as you saw. The voice was recognized. You've got a remote notifier here. That's for your notification. I'm sorry, remote notifications here. Then you've got to find my device. So if I want to find my phone, I'll hit this button here, and it'll ring on the phone. And then when I pick the phone up, it will stop. I'll do that real quick again for you. As soon as you touch a button on it, it will stop. So you've got that. Again, if we go into the application as well, this BT Swatch application, you'll see that the DM360 is connected here. And if I do find my device here, it will look for the device, and then I'll say OK to stop it. So you can find them both ways. Notifications, pedometer, sleep manager, heart rate, scan device, all that stuff is all in here. Your alerts, you can change your device name from the DM360 if you want to change it to something else, you can do that. So notifications, again, this will say your personal apps and your system apps, which ones you want on and which ones you want off. You know, it's got a ton, and it will go through all of your system apps as well and allow them to notify you. So you have to go and turn off the ones you don't want. It's just so that you don't get inundated with too many of those. So that's the application. The application works out really well, connects up no problem, and doesn't have any problems with pushing notifications, as you saw. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's just double check. You've got the Siri button here. Again, for me, it's not going to do me any good because I don't have an iOS device, but if you do, it'll link up with Siri and allow you to do some voice commands. You've got Bluetooth music here. So if I wanted to play something, I can just hit play, and it should be playing something on... Actually, I don't have anything up, so hold on one second. Find my music. And give me 1 second to just find something that they're not going to freak out on me for here. Okay, so we've got some music up, and I think I can play this one, and I'll just play this from the... Okay, so you've got this. Once you get to this icon here for Bluetooth music, it'll play the last thing, and I just rebooted my phone, that's why I'll play the last thing that was on your phone. And you can adjust the volume. Whoops. Of course I paused it. And I paused it again. It's hard to do behind the... There we go. There you go. So you can hear it, not bad sound even for music. So if you want to play some music, just you know, remotely from the actual device that you have it hooked up to, works no problem there. We've got Sleep Manager again, call logs, remote capture. If you want to connect to your Android phone, it will actually now be looking at whatever I'm looking at. So if I have this box out here and I'm looking at this box with my camera and I want to take a picture of it, I can use the other camera. Now it looks kind of pixelated on the watch, not too bad. There is a little bit of a delay there, as you can see, but it will take the picture with the actual phone, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just snap a picture, and once you have your picture there, you can do other things with it as well. We'll go into that in another video as far as being able to not just capture, but then kind of send this off and maybe a message here. Again, it's going to load up some messages, you know, something, you know, if I want to send off something to somebody, I can see all the messages that I have in here. And then if I want to respond to this, I can reply, or I can call him. I can say, I'm busy, I'm sorry, thank you. I've got some, you know, some smiley faces, long time no see, how was your day? You know, that type of thing. It gives you some templates to at least do a check back with the person without having to take your phone out if you're extremely busy. So you can do that, and you can call them right back too, right from the watch, so that's cool too. Applications, profiles, heart rate, Bluetooth connection, you're not going to really want to mess with. This is where you'll go in and actually make sure that you are on, and you can search for a new device. So once you're set up on that, you won't have to do that anymore. Applications, you've got a calendar, a calculator, you've got a sound recorder, so you can record sound. You've got a stopwatch, and you've got an alarm, so you can set all of those. And then you've got a heart rate. So if we put this guy on real quick, I'm just going to show you this guy, and we'll get him strapped in and show you that the heart rate sensor does work, and it's not a bad deal. If I flip this guy, you can see I can change each one by flipping my wrist there if I want to do it that way, or I can just do it this way. So just give me a second to let this guy kick in here. and it does take a couple seconds to come up. Right now I'm at about 83, and that's because I'm sitting here and I'm doing the review and I'm talking a lot and stuff like that. So it's pretty accurate. I've tested it up a couple of other things, and it's worked out very well. As you can see, if we open this guy up again, get it off behind the camera there, that you'll see that you've got that red light there that's trying to read your heart rate. So very nice, very well built. And then back to settings. Now in settings, you can do your Bluetooth settings. You can do your clock. This is where you'll change all your clocks, your volume, your display, you know, smart gestures, whether you want those on. You can reset the whole entire device, and then your about here, which is going to say the device name is the DM360, your address, your LE address, you know, all the things. You've got your version here, and the release time, and of course your serial number too as well. So now smart gestures, we can turn off a bunch of different things like raise hand to answer phones, shaking to turn pages, shaking to answer. You can turn those on and off. I like to turn most of them off, to be honest, just because it saves on battery life. And by the way, battery life is pretty good on this. I usually get about an hour. I'm sorry, a day, an hour. I usually get about a day and a half to close to 2 days on one charge on this. So that's not too bad at all. So the last thing I wanted to show you, here's Bluetooth settings. This is actually having your Bluetooth on and the visibility on or off. When you first set up the phone, you're going to want to come into Bluetooth settings and do that and make sure you're good to go. The clock faces, again, you've got clock type and time sync. This will sync with whatever device that you're using. The types are right here. You've got this guy. You've got kind of a digital face here, more of a chronograph. This one has your pedometer settings and your battery life in it. So we'll leave it on that one, and then we'll go back and then we'll just kind of take a look at it. You can see, since I haven't started the pedometer, it doesn't really have any count there, but you've got your minutes here, you've got your second hand, you've got a nice action hand there. Then you've also got your battery life. When that starts to go down, that will change. So you've got all that too. And I'll show you just a couple of the other clock settings. This guy is actually a pretty interesting clock. I like that. This one's also pretty interesting. This one's kind of just like a line setup. You'll see that in a second. It's got the date, and then the date in the middle, then your time, and then your seconds just go around this way. So that's actually pretty cool that it counts seconds down like that. And then when it gets all the way around, it will switch over to it'll switch over to 753 at that point. So it's actually got some pretty cool clocks here. They're all built in. You can't download any new clocks, so you're kind of stuck. I like kind of the basic clock myself, but that's just me. This clock here that kind of counts the seconds and has the black background with, you know, you can set it to 12 and 24 hour. I have it on 12 hour, and it still has a 0 before the time, but it doesn't count all the way up past, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to hour 24. It just goes over again, but you still have that 0, so it's always like it's 7:53 p.m. You know, if it was 7:53 a.m., it would still say 07:53. It's not going to say, it's not going to have that 24-hour time, and you can set that in settings as well. So overall, I think the DM360 by Lemfo is a great smartphone. If you're looking for anything that you're going to have to add, smartwatch, excuse me, if you're going to have to add, like if you want added memory to carry more files with it, or you want a SIM card so it can be a standalone watch, then you're probably going to want to look other places. But as far as the build quality and the connectivity, at least on Android side, everything works. Remote notifications, Bluetooth music, finding my device, remote capture, everything that you can think of that I've thrown at this watch works. The battery life is definitely decent. The watch face is nice and bright and clear. Very, very, very comfortable band, even in metal to wear. Just very, very nicely made. Phone calls work, taking phone calls, making phone calls, responding to people's text messages. Pretty much everything that you can throw at this watch that it says it can do, it has done. So this was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you have any questions or comments about the DM360, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll check you guys out on the next video.